For those who don't know, Brookhaven is exactly like this. But today, I want to modify Brookhaven using Roblox Studio and make it super realistic. I want to make my own version of Brookhaven. But to do this, I called my friend who disappeared. I said here in the chat, "Where are you?" But he said in the chat, "I work here starting today." Okay, I think he's in this store, basically working here. I said here in the chat, "Aren't you going to help me make the realistic version of Brookhaven?" Because guys, it seems like he won't, but it looks like he realized the mission I have here in Roblox. And he said in the chat, "Okay, I will." Guys, it seems like he's going to help me. But first, I'm leaving here. I need to check what things I'm going to change in this map because there's a lot to change here, but I don't know where to start. I said here in the chat, "Where do I start?" Not only that, but I want to see what he thinks, and it looks like he changed his avatar. He said in the chat, "Here, follow me." Guys, it looks like he's running ahead, but here on the right, I'm going to grab a car to get there faster. Exactly this one. I don't know where he's going, but he's running ahead, and now he grabbed this hoverboard and is coming over here. I said in the chat, "Where are you going?" Because, guys, he came here to the middle of nowhere. He said in the chat, "Here, change the grass to a realistic one." Look, that's true, because for those who don't know, the grass in Brookhaven is very simple, so I can grab this and modify it to make it much better. So guys, I'm going to start the modifications now. There's this grass part that I can place here, which might be very interesting. But guys, I had a better idea to do this. First, I need to select the entire map in Roblox Studio. Perfect, I selected everything, and I just changed the grass. You can see that it looks exactly like this. It really looks very interesting. Now it seems like Brookhaven really is much more realistic, but there's still a lot to do. First, the trees. The trees in Brookhaven are very simple. I'm sure I can change them and make them much better. But guys, I'm seeing in the background that this grass didn't change. Actually, it looks terrible, so I'm going to have to change this too. Perfect, I changed it. And now the entire Brookhaven has this grass. He said in the chat that there are some parts without grass. Look, that's true, but it's a bit hard to do everything and select everything. I said in the chat, "It's not easy." He said in the chat, "It's not, but your mission is to change the entire map." Guys, what he said is true. My mission is to make Brookhaven much more realistic. So I'm going to have to go ahead and actually modify the entire map, which is going to be really hard. Perfect, I changed these parts, but now there are parts like this one. Perfect, I'll change this part. Now it looks exactly like this. I'm going to change this part too, and also the floor. And now, I finally finished this entire part. In the original game, it's exactly like this, but now in the Brookhaven that I'm making it looks exactly like this. It's really much better. Not only that, but it looks like real grass, like from real life. He said in the chat, "This really looks very good, but there's another part of the map too, and I forgot about that." And guys, I only did one part of the map. This part really looks great, but we have this other part here, which looks terrible. So I'm going to change this part, the school grass, and also this part. Now, I just need to change the color of this mountain, and now it just looks much better. You can see that the mountain looks super realistic. It's way better than before. Now it really looks like real life. I said in the chat, "What else should I change?" I want to know what he thinks. He said in the chat, "I don't know." And guys, that's kind of bad, because I don't know what else to change, and he doesn't know either. Guys, I realized this car drifts, so I had an idea. I'm going to add a car that drifts to realistic Brookhaven. He said in the chat, "No, that's not realistic." Actually, it is. As I said in the chat, it is. Now we have this car, and it's really cool. You can see it's very realistic. And if I get inside to drive, I can actually drive it. It works. It can even drift, which is really awesome. But guys, I realized one thing. Here in the Brookhaven I'm playing, it really looks amazing. Everything here is better than before. The grass is better than before. And there's also a map expansion. So now there's this other map I can go to in front. And here, for those who don't know, we have the new Brookhaven city here, and it looks really nice. But there's one thing missing. The trees. The trees in this game are hideous, and I can see that I'm going to have to change all the trees, not just in this map, but also in this other Brookhaven map, because these trees aren't realistic. Actually, they're hideous. I said in the chat, "I'm going to remove the trees." And he said in the chat, "No, please don't." I said in the chat, "I'm going to add new trees, realistic ones this time." He said in the chat, "Oh, that makes sense." He thought I was going to remove the trees and not add any back, but no, I'm going to remove the trees, but then I'm going to put even better trees. Guys, I've selected all the trees here, and I'm going to remove them all. Now I just need to remove these others here. I'm going to remove these, and also these other ones. I'm also going to remove these, and these here. Guys, now the Brookhaven map literally has no trees, and it looks really weird. There are no more trees here in the game. It really looks kind of ugly, but I'm going to put new trees here, and they'll be even better. He said in the chat, "This looks horrible without the trees." True, it really does look kind of ugly. And guys, I'm driving here in the car, and you can really tell the difference when you remove the trees from the game, but I'm going to put them back. But first, I want to compare how Brookhaven looks without trees versus with trees. So I'm going back to the beginning of the game, and you can see that this part with trees looks exactly like this. Now without trees, the game feels really empty. It's like something really important was removed from the game. Now this other part looks exactly like this, and without trees, it looks like this. It's just hideous. Now I'm going to start the modifications. I'm going to add trees like this, randomly spread across the map. Perfect! I placed a lot of trees here. It's not complete because, actually, this is the first type of tree I placed. And there's a a tree floating in the middle of the air. This looks weird, so I'm going to remove it and place it right here in front. This one too, I'm going to leave it exactly here. Now, guys, it really looks much better. The game is starting to get better, but there's still a tree floating in the air, so I'm going to have to modify this and place it right here. Guys, it looks like there's another tree floating here that I'm going to move to the side. And now I'm going to start using this tree because it's much prettier than the previous ones. He said in the chat, wow, the difference is huge. True, there's a big difference. And the game is really starting to look much more realistic and perfect. Now I've placed a lot of trees and the game has changed a lot. You can see that now there are just so many trees. The game is starting to get better. There are trees here, just like before. Because for those who don't know, in the original game, there are trees exactly here. But there's one very important thing missing, which is simply the giant trees. He said in the chat, now what are you going to do? I'm going to add new trees. This time they're going to be these giant trees. Because for those who don't know, these giant trees are all over the map. They're here, also in this part. In other words, a big part of the map is made up of giant trees, which is something my game doesn't have. And guys, in Brookhaven, we have red trees. But in my game, I haven't added red trees yet because I think I'll leave it exactly like this. For me, it's already excellent. But now, there's one very important thing missing. I'm going to put a different sky here. Perfect! I placed exactly this one, and you can see that the game improved a lot. Now it has a better sky. The lighting of the game also improved. It's just really beautiful, and it really looks like real life. But there's one very important thing missing, which is the water. For those who don't know, the water is exactly like this, but I'm sure there's a way to improve it and make it much more realistic. I said in the chat, how do you want the water to look? I want to see what he wants. He said in the chat, blue. Look, that's a good idea. But guys, looking at the water in the game, you can see that it's exactly like this, and it's just very normal. But I want the water in my game to be much better than this water, and also this other one, and this lake water. You can see it's exactly like this, but I'm going to make it much better. Guys, I removed the sky here, but I'm going to put it back later. I temporarily removed it to modify the game in a better way. The first thing I'm going to do is modify this water. I'm going to remove all of it. All this water in the game is going to be completely removed, and you can see it looks exactly like this. This looks really weird, but now I'm going to place this water. I'm going to have to move it down like this. Perfect. You can see that the water is exactly here, and it looks so much better because this water is more realistic, and it looks much prettier. It even moves. And guys, the water in Brookhaven improved a lot. But what happens if I go down here and touch the water? Okay, I'm going to go down here, and you can see that nothing special happens. But coming here to the front, I think I'm going to fall off the map. But actually, I didn't fall. Guys, I think the water looks much better than the water we have in the game, because this water moves, and the water in the game doesn't move. He said in the chat, why don't you change the sand? Look, that's true. For those who don't know, here in Brookhaven, we have the giant beach, which is exactly here in front. The first beach is right here, and the next one is up ahead, which is exactly this one. I'm seriously thinking about changing the sand in the game to make something more realistic. He said in the chat, just change the texture. It's simple. Okay, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to have to modify the texture of the sand, but before doing that, there's this new water, and I noticed that down below, under the water, there's sand, but to make it look right, I'm going to have to remove this blue thing. I'm going to have to remove this here. Perfect, I deleted it, and now, coming to this part, you can see that we have new sand in the game, right here. It's much better than before, but guys, coming here, I want to see if I can swim. Okay, I couldn't swim. It didn't go too well, but now I'm going to start modifying the sand. I'm going to put exactly this one, and you can see that it looks much prettier. It really looks much better, but now, the trees in the game are missing. Perfect, I just placed these new trees in the game, which look a lot better. The game really looks like a realistic Brookhaven now, but there's a problem. The cars in Brookhaven are still not realistic, so I'm going to have to change them, but I want to see first what car my friend wants. I said in the chat, choose a car. I want to see which car he's going to choose. He said in the chat, this one. Okay, he wants this Ferrari. So guys, I'm going to add this car to the game, but I grabbed this car of mine, and I want to see what else I'm going to add to my game because everything here is really cool. My game is getting a lot better, but I'm looking here, and it seems like maybe I can change these streets because the streets in Brookhaven are really cool, but there's a way to make this much better. Now I'm going to have to change the textures of the street. Done! I selected everything. Now guys, I changed the texture. You can see it looks exactly like this. We also have this other one here, which could stay like this, but I think I'll leave it exactly like this because it really looks much better. You can see it really looks like a real street. He said in the chat, but what about the other streets? Guys, he's coming back here, but I'm not sure what he's talking about. Okay, I think he's looking at this thing up here. Guys, we have the street lights here, and I'm seriously thinking about changing them and putting a more realistic version. He said in the chat, true, you should change that. It will look much better. So I'm going to do exactly that. I'm going to change all the lights in the game, which I think are just these, because I'm looking at the map and I don't see any others. Okay, guys, I grabbed exactly this one, and I'm going to have to place it here in these parts, exactly here. Then I'll place another one right here, another one here, and the last one right here. And we also have this one, which might be interesting because apparently it works. Guys, testing it here, you can see that it really works. There's just one problem. All the signals are green, meaning this is going to cause an accident. And also, this other one fell down. I don't know how, but it fell. But the good part is that it really works and the light turns on, which is excellent. The only problem is that the signals are all wrong, literally wrong. But guys, I just placed this train that my friend Nando sent me, and you can see that it looks really beautiful. It goes through the entire city, and now guys, my game is so much better. I want to test it with my friend. I said in the chat, let's test the game. Guys, I really want to test this out. And apparently, he left the game. Guys, I'm going to join here too. I'm in my game now, and you can see that something's missing. The sky is missing, which now looks so much better. It really looks like a more realistic version of Brookhaven. Now guys, I'm here in the game, and you can see that everything here looks a lot better. It's much more realistic, but one thing I want to test is the train. I want to see if the train really works. Even my friend, he's here, and he said in the chat, wow. But guys, I'm coming here on the train to see if it's really going to work or not. Guys, I just got inside. I'm going to try to drive it. I think I have to sit right here, but first, I'm waiting for my friend to come inside. Okay, I'm going to start driving this. And guys, you can see that it really works. But before, I'm going to invite more people to come here. Guys, you can see that more people are joining here to get on the train. Perfect. He got inside and sat right here, and more people are coming in. But guys, I'm going to start going here in the front with this Roblox train. But before, I'm going to wait for the players to come inside. You can see that people are inside, and a lot of people are coming here. Everyone is coming here on the train because soon I'm going to start moving. Okay, guys, I'm coming here. Some people couldn't get in, but I want to see if this train is really going to work. Guys, the train is going through here, and apparently, it really works. And this is really impressive because I didn't think the train was going to work, but it really did. But by accident, I broke the train, and now it's totally broken. And you can see that the game looks much prettier. It really looks much better. And if you want to add me here on Roblox, just click the member button, and I'll add you here on Roblox.